Welcome to this special comprehensive broadcast. Today, the tennis world has been brought to a standstill for an extraordinary reason. The draws for the 2026 BNP Paribas Open at Indian Wells have been revealed, and nestled within the brackets is a first-round clash sending shockwaves across the globe. This is a generational showdown of epic proportions, a match that feels scripted for Hollywood but is unfolding live in the California desert. The undisputed legend and trailblazer, 45-year-old seven-time Grand Slam champion Venus Williams, is set to face the meteoric rise of Asian tennis, the newly minted world number 31, 20-year-old Filipina sensation Alexandra Eala. While passing the torch is a phrase often thrown around in sports media, this encounter is far more than that. It represents a monumental collision of two eras of women's tennis on one of the sport's grandest stages. News of the draw ignited social media, with analysts, former players, and millions of fans immediately grasping the magnitude of the matchup. Its rich storyline, layered with history, emotion, and competitive fire, has overshadowed the rest of the tournament, which features stars like Aryna Sabalenka, Iga Swiatek, and Coco Gauff. To understand the full significance, one must consider the venue itself. The BNP Paribas Open, affectionately dubbed Tennis Paradise, is widely regarded as the fifth Grand Slam. The Indian Wells Tennis Garden, set against the dramatic Santa Rosa Mountains, features the world's second-largest permanent tennis stadium, and the desert heat creates an arena that tests both physical endurance and mental fortitude. It is a cornerstone of the hard-court season, where only the very best survive, and it is here, in this unforgiving yet iconic setting, that these two titans of tennis will collide. In this beautiful desert oasis, the past and future of the Women's Tennis Association Tour are poised to collide. Venus Williams, a name synonymous with greatness, power, and resilience, received a wild-card entry into this year's main draw, making her return to Indian Wells an event in itself. Turned professional in October 1994, Venus has competed at the sport's highest level for over 3 decades, winning multiple Grand Slam titles, spending weeks at world number 1, and revolutionizing women's tennis with her athleticism and baseline power long before her opponent was born. She is more than a player. She is a cultural icon, a pioneer for equal pay, and a living testament to the love of the game. At 45, when many of her contemporaries have retired to commentary or private life, Venus continues to compete with an unquenchable competitive drive, making every match a historic occasion. Yet this upcoming clash is far from a victory lap. Standing across the net is Alexandra Eala, a rising star playing the best tennis of her career. Representing the Philippines, Eala arrives at Indian Wells as one of the tour's most dangerous and informed competitors, recently achieving a career-high ranking of world number 31 after an impressive run at the Dubai Tennis Championships. Over the past weeks, she has evolved from a promising prospect into a legitimate threat, defeating top-tier opponents and demonstrating tactical maturity beyond her 20 years. With a lethal left-handed forehand, incredible court coverage, and training honed at the Rafa Nadal Academy, Eala embodies the dreams of a nation hungry for a global tennis superstar. The Filipino diaspora in California ensures the stadium will be packed with fans waving their national flags, creating an atmosphere rivaling a Billie Jean King Cup tie. On one side stands the timeless aura of Venus, revered by the American crowd as royalty. On the other, the hungry, relentless energy of Eala, hungry to carve her name into tennis history. Dynamic and fiercely supported, Eala carries the hopes of an entire nation on her shoulders, creating a stark contrast to the timeless presence of Venus Williams. The stakes are extraordinarily high, and the emotional resonance of this matchup has made it a global headline. Yet there is another crucial detail that makes this clash at Indian Wells even more fascinating. While this will be their first singles meeting, the two recently faced each other at the start of the 2026 season in a doubles match at the ASB Classic in Auckland, New Zealand. In that encounter, Eala, partnering with American teenager Ivik, pulled off a stunning upset, defeating Venus and her highly decorated partner, Elena Svitolina, in straight sets, 7-6, 6-1. That match offered a glimpse of the generational shift, with Eala visibly starstruck at the net while acknowledging the surreal experience of competing against a pioneer she had idolized since childhood. Yet once the ball was in play, Eala's displayed fearless, ruthless competitiveness, the exact instinct required to rise to the top of the sport. Translating that doubles victory into a singles showdown at a WTA 1000 mandatory event, however, is an entirely different challenge. Venus, dictating points on her own terms with a massive first serve and imposing wingspan, presents a vastly different test. Eala knows what it feels like to hit past Venus, but doing so in a one-on-one baseline battle in the California desert is the ultimate examination of her newly minted top 31 status. This is why the sports world is buzzing, why major networks and publications have cleared their front pages for this matchup. It is more than technical execution of forehands and backhands. It is a narrative, a collision of eras, and a test of composure, talent, and legacy. This is a masterpiece of sport, a story of a veteran warrior refusing to let the dying of the light dictate her surrender, facing a young prodigy rapidly climbing the mountain the veteran once ruled. It is a match that embodies everything we love about sports: unpredictability, history, raw emotion, and the relentless, beautiful march of time. As we approach this blockbuster event, it is clear that regardless of who advances, the encounter will be etched into the annals of tennis history. The world is captivated not only by the names involved but by the poetic serendipity of the draw, which allows fans to witness such a momentous collision of eras. Anticipation is palpable, the stage is set, and the hard courts of Indian Wells are ready to host a battle that will be remembered for years to come. With the magnitude established, it is now time to dive deeper into the matchup, unpacking its layers, historical context, tactical nuances, and psychological warfare that will define this showdown between Alexandra Eala and Venus Williams at the BNP Paribas Open. To fully understand its significance, we must first revisit Venus Williams' complex and sometimes tumultuous history with Indian Wells. For years, the Williams sisters famously boycotted the tournament following a deeply painful incident in 2001, a chapter rooted in both personal and historical tensions that shaped their relationship with the event. The history of Venus Williams at Indian Wells is steeped in both controversy and redemption. Following a hostile crowd incident in 2001, the tournament felt a massive void for over a decade, missing its brightest American stars. When Venus finally returned in 2016, it marked a moment of profound healing and grace. She was welcomed with standing ovations, transforming a sight of past pain into one of triumphant return. Today, at 45, accepting a wild card into the 2026 main draw, every match she plays here is a celebration of her enduring legacy. On the court, Venus relies on aggressive, first-strike tennis. While her serve may no longer consistently reach the 120 miles per hour peak of her prime, its placement, disguise, and lofty trajectory still make it formidable. Her flat, penetrating ground strokes, particularly her devastating two-handed backhand down the line, can still tear through any defense. Yet the desert conditions at Indian Wells present a unique challenge. The gritty courts produce high bounces and slightly slow the ball, favoring heavy topspin players and counterpunchers who thrive in long rallies. The dry air allows shots to fly fast, but the surface requires a flat hitter like Venus to generate immense personal power, relying on precise footwork and early preparation. This naturally sets the stage for the tactical profile of 20-year-old Alexandra Eala, who has honed her game to meet such challenges and is ready to test the legend in one of tennis's most demanding environments. Alexandra Eala has developed a game perfectly tailored for conditions like those at Indian Wells. A product of the modern, highly physical era of women's tennis, she trained extensively on clay and hard courts in Spain, building a style that thrives on heavy topspin, remarkable agility, and relentless baseline endurance. As a left-hander, Eala possesses an immediate tactical advantage, using her forehand cross-court to target the backhand of right-handed opponents. While Venus Williams possesses one of the greatest two-handed backhands in the history of the sport, Ella's ability to pull her wide with high-kicking topspin will be a crucial strategy. Her rise to world number 31 this week is no accident. At the recent Dubai Tennis Championships, a WTA 1000 event, Eala showcased tremendous grit, defeating Sarana Sursti and orchestrating a stunning upset over Jasmine Paolini. What stood out was not only her shot-making but her problem-solving under pressure. When matches tightened, Eala amplified her aggression while maintaining precision. Her eventual loss to Coco Gauff in the quarterfinals, where she was outpaced late in the match, offered a vital lesson against top-5 power, teaching her when to extend rallies versus when to pull the trigger, an essential evolution to challenge Venus. Tactically, Eala will aim to prolong rallies, dragging Venus into 8, 10, or 12-shot exchanges, forcing lateral movement and extra balls, while Venus prefers short, crisp 3 or 4-shot sequences dictated by her power. Eala's movement is electric, absorbing pace and redirecting it, and if she can use the gritty Indian Wells surface to loop heavy balls deep, keeping Venus pinned behind the baseline, she could gradually dismantle the veteran's offensive game. Yet Venus's tactical genius and sheer willpower cannot be underestimated. Over 3 decades, she has faced defensive walls like Arantxa Sanchez Vicario, the power of Lindsay Davenport, the versatility of Martina Hingis, her own sister Serena, and modern hitters like Aryna Sabalenka. There is literally nothing Eala can present that Venus has not encountered and overcome before. The psychological battle will be intense. For Eala, the challenge is mental. How does she step onto a stadium court, look across the net, and face the idol whose posters may have adorned her walls, separating the legend from the opponent in front of her? Eala managed to do this in the doubles encounter in Auckland, but translating that composure to a high-stakes singles showdown is the ultimate test of her rising star. The isolation of singles tennis presents an entirely different challenge than doubles, and Alexandra Eala must step onto the court with absolute conviction that she belongs there not as a fan, but as the world number 31, fully intent on dismantling her opponent. She must treat Venus not with reverence during points, but with the ruthless aggression required to win at this level. Eala's recent comments suggest she is mentally prepared, speaking about the privilege of playing in front of crowds who see themselves in her, a nod to the immense global Filipino support she enjoys. That support will be critical, as the atmosphere at Indian Wells promises to be electric. When Venus hits a vintage passing shot, the American crowd will roar. When Eala scrambles to deliver a sensational running forehand, Filipino fans will erupt. This cacophony of generational and national pride will define not only this match but also the broader landscape of the WTA Tour in 2026. The era is dominated by a few consistent heavyweights at the top, but the space between ranks 10 and 50 is more volatile than ever, and players like Eala are breaking through by stringing together strong runs at major mandatory events. Bypassing qualifying rounds due to her ranking, Eala enters fresh and rested, with the potential to ascend into the top 25 with a deep run setting her up for a seeded position at the upcoming French Open. Yet standing in her way is the ultimate gatekeeper, Venus Williams, who plays not for ranking points or prize money, but for the love of battle, the thrill of perfect execution, and the sheer joy of competition. With zero pressure on her shoulders, Venus can swing freely, take risks on her second serve, and attack with unburdened freedom, while the 20-year-old Eala bears the weight of expectation. Tactically, the matchup will hinge on the return of serve. Eala's return game has improved significantly over the past year, using a compact backswing to handle Venus's formidable first serve and 1-2 punch. Getting the returns deep and neutral will be essential. Any short return gives Venus the chance to step inside the baseline and punish the open court. Conversely, Eala's own serve, particularly her left-handed slice out wide on the ad court, is a potent weapon, but her second serve can be vulnerable, something Venus has historically exploited with devastating precision. Venus Williams' aggressive return positions are among the most feared in the game. She steps well inside the baseline on second serves, using her massive reach to take the ball early and immediately apply suffocating pressure. Alexandra Eala must maintain a high first serve percentage to prevent Venus from dictating points from the first strike. The physical demands of the match are equally significant. Indian Wells desert conditions fluctuate dramatically, with daytime heat causing the ball to fly faster and evening sessions slowing it as temperatures drop. A daytime match might favor Eala's youth and endurance, while an evening session could enhance Venus's ability to hit through the court. Eala's team has meticulously built her lower body strength, enabling her to stay low on defensive slices and explode on topspin ground strokes, but she will need every ounce of that preparation. Venus, despite her age, manages her energy masterfully, playing truncated schedules to focus on key events. Her wingspan allows her to cover the court efficiently, conserving energy while maintaining defensive solidity. Beyond the technical battle, Eala represents a nation in sporting evolution. The Philippines has excelled in boxing, basketball, and billiards, but tennis has rarely seen a player reach the top of the singles game. Eala's journey from winning the US Open girls singles, multiple junior Grand Slam doubles titles, Southeast Asian Games gold, and now firmly in the WTA top 40 serves as a blueprint for future generations. Every victory inspires thousands of young athletes across Manila, Cebu, and the archipelago. Facing Venus, Eala is not just competing for herself, she is representing the limitless potential of her country on the global stage. The improbability of this matchup, a player born in 2005 taking on a pro who debuted in 1994, underscores its rarity, requiring a rapid rise from the younger athlete and a veteran refusing to fade. The strategic plans are drawn, physical preparations complete, and the narrative set. Eala will leverage her youth, speed, topspin, and left-handed angles, while Venus will rely on her power, tactical wisdom, and aggressive baseline mastery. It is a clash of styles, generations, and sheer competitive will. As these two athletes prepare to step onto the pristine hard courts of the Indian Wells Tennis Garden, we are reminded why we watch sports. They transcend mere wins, losses, or ranking points. This upcoming match between Alexandra Eala and Venus Williams is a living museum of tennis evolution, a profound testament to history, skill, and the relentless march of time. Welcome to this special, comprehensive broadcast. Today, the tennis world has come to a standstill for an extraordinary reason. The draws for the 2026 BNP Paribas Open at Indian Wells have been unveiled, and within the first-round brackets lies a matchup sending shockwaves across the globe. This is a generational clash of epic proportions, a story that feels scripted for Hollywood but is unfolding live in the California desert. On one side stands the undisputed legend and trailblazer, 45-year-old seven-time Grand Slam champion Venus Williams. On the other, the meteoric rising star of Asian tennis, 20-year-old Filipina sensation Alexandra Eala, newly minted world number 31. While the phrase "passing the torch" is overused in sports media, this encounter represents more than that. It is a monumental collision of eras, history, and styles on one of the sport's grandest stages. When the draw was announced, social media erupted, analysts and fans alike recognizing the gravity of the matchup, overshadowing an already stacked field featuring Aryna Sabalenka, Iga Swiatek, and Coco Gauff. The BNP Paribas Open, affectionately known as Tennis Paradise, is widely regarded as the fifth Grand Slam. The Indian Wells Tennis Garden, nestled against the Santa Rosa Mountains, boasts the world's second-largest permanent tennis stadium. The desert environment with its intense heat, high-bouncing courts, and dramatic temperature swings tests players' physical endurance and mental fortitude. It is here, in this unforgiving arena, that two generations of women's tennis will collide. Venus Williams, a name synonymous with greatness, power, and resilience, received a wild card into this year's main draw, marking a momentous return to Indian Wells. Turned professional in October 1994, Venus has competed at the sport's highest level for over 3 decades, winning multiple Grand Slam titles, spending weeks at world number 1, and revolutionizing women's tennis with her athleticism and baseline power. Beyond her on-court achievements, Venus is a cultural icon, a pioneer for equal pay, and a living testament to a lifelong love of the game. At 45, she continues to compete with an unquenchable competitive drive, each match a historic occasion. Yet this clash is far from a victory lap. Standing across the net is a young phenom playing the best tennis of her life. Alexandra Eala, proudly representing the Philippines, has rapidly risen into the top 31, arriving at Indian Wells as a dangerous and highly informed competitor. Recent performances, including a career-high run at the Dubai Tennis Championships where she defeated Jasmine Paolini before falling to Coco Gauff in the quarterfinals, have demonstrated both her shot-making and her ability to problem-solve under pressure. Her lethal left-handed forehand, exceptional court coverage, and tactical maturity belie her 20 years of age. Eala carries not just personal ambition but the hopes of a nation, inspiring thousands of young athletes across the Philippines with every victory. These two athletes are not strangers. Earlier this season, they met in a doubles match at the ASB Classic in Auckland, where Eala, partnering with American teenager Ivic, stunned Venus and Elena Svitolina in straight sets, 7-6, 6-1. That match offered a glimpse of the generational shift, though singles presents an entirely different challenge. Eala must now approach Venus with full conviction, treating her as an opponent to be defeated, not a legend to be revered. Meanwhile, Venus' tactical genius and decades of experience provide a formidable counterweight. She has seen and conquered every style of play imaginable, from defensive specialists to the modern power game. The psychological battle will be intense. Eala must combine the fearlessness of youth with the maturity of a veteran to overcome Venus' aura and the magnitude of the moment. Venus, free of ranking pressure and motivated purely by love of competition, can swing with joyful abandon. Tactically, the matchup will hinge on serves, returns, and extended baseline rallies. Venus' aggressive return positions, massive wingspan, and 1-2 punch remain potent, while Eala's improved return game, electrifying movement, and strategic use of topspin will be crucial. The physical conditions, shifting desert heat, gritty court surfaces, and potential timing of the match add another layer of complexity, testing stamina, preparation, and adaptability. Beyond individual strategy, this encounter represents a broader narrative, the evolution of tennis itself. Venus embodies 3 decades of dominance, cultural impact, and longevity, while Eala exemplifies the global, highly trained, physically elite future of the sport. The improbability of a player born in 2005 facing a pro from 1994 underscores the rarity of this moment. The stakes are immense, the crowd will roar for both sides, and the atmosphere will be electric with generational and national pride. In the end, this match transcends rankings, points, or prize money. It is a living, breathing exhibition of tennis history and evolution, the past and future vividly playing out between the baselines. Every forehand from Venus is a brushstroke on a masterpiece 30 years in the making, while every shot from Eala is a declaration of the future, a name being written into the history books. Whether Venus triumphs or Eala rises, the true winner is the sport itself, gifted a narrative that requires no artificial hype. As the desert sun beats down on the courts and the umpire calls time, the talking will cease and the rackets will take over. Two incredible women, separated by decades yet united by unyielding passion, will engage in a battle remembered long after the final ball is struck.